Hello, everyone. This is Animezingly Baka, the amazingly stupid show. it's a, it's off to a stupid start. What more can you ask for? This is Animezingly Baka, the amazingly stupid podcast all about anime and movies and TV shows and manga and comics and books and music and whatever else tickles my fancy. Tickle, tickle, tickle. Except video games, of course, because that has its own avenue, its own delivery service. I don't know. I decided to watch and wait to record this episode until a little later so that I could talk about both the sixth and final episode of The Last of Us Season 2. And I somewhat regret my decision because, not to be a broken record, but I'm going to be a broken record. I don't like this season. I think it is very bad. I am coming at this from someone who just played the second game for the first time a month ago or so. And I ended up really, really liking it and liking certain aspects of it way more than I was expecting. I don't want to spoil parts of the game because if you were coming at the show as someone who just watches the show and hasn't played the game, I don't want to lead you in a direction. I don't want to spoil anything, even though the show has decided to make changes and go in different directions in certain ways that may seem, well, one, they're not going to seemingly affect the grand picture, but they're just bits of information that are revealed here that aren't revealed in the game, and so on and so forth. But also the order and structure of it is different, which I think makes some sense in just the different mediums and how they're delivered. One you are an active participant in, and the other you are a passive viewer of. So I understand making changes in that sense, but ignoring spoilers and stuff of that nature to start, and maybe for the entirety of this, because I don't know if I really need to get into spoilers to talk about my issues with this series. But first and foremost, I don't think Bella Ramsey is capable of leading this show. I don't think she's a good enough actress. I've come to the realization, for me at least, that I don't think she is leading material. At least not now. Maybe with age she'll get there because she's still young. She's still growing. But right now, I don't think she's a good enough actress to carry this show. And I don't. I I was gonna say I don't know what I was gonna say, but you see this one with episode 6 where Joel comes back and we get a lot of the backstory between, we get a lot of, what is it, flashbacks. That's the term I'm looking for. And in all of those scenes, disregarding any kind of changes to the story that I may have issue with, you see the difference. It's night and day between Pedro Pascal and Bella Ramsey in terms of their ability to carry a scene, to just capture you as a viewer. And again, it's hard to, or unfair to really compare the two because Pedro Pascal is what? Over twice her age with so much more experience. So it's not exactly fair, but what that really did was showcase how much better he is at carrying this show, and why the first season the first season is also a much simpler story, and there isn't as much going on. There aren't multiple characters, and, well, specifically multiple characters in the sense of, Ellie and Abby, that you have to try and intertwine in a way that works for a viewer, especially there was one moment too in if you play the game, there was a moment in the last episode of season 2 where Ellie encounters some of the Seraphites, and the way that scene was playing out, I was terrified that they were about to make a humongous change that I would not if that scene fully played out the way it played out in the game, but just with Ellie instead of Abby, I don't know. I was I was terrified watching that scene thinking, how do they make the rest of this show make sense if they're going to do what they did in the game here and introduce these significant important characters here, but with Ellie instead of I was terrified. But I just I feel like especially with this final episode, it feels very rushed. I don't know why this had to be a 7-episode season. May budgetary I don't understand. The first season was 9 episodes, and this felt very rushed in getting to the midpoint where you have the transition from Ellie to Abby. I just what are it was just weird. And the interaction with Owen and is it Mel? But that how that played out, the fact that the death of Mel was accidental and not because they were both going after her, eh, I don't I don't when she gets back to the thing, she gets there before knowing I don't know. I feel so icky not liking it because now I feel like all the people who don't like The Last of Us Part 2, the game, or I don't even know why people don't like it. Is it just because they're so ingrained in having to love Joel and Ellie that what Abby does to start the game is irredeemable in their eyes because Joel and Ellie are saints to them? And for me, you like Joel and Ellie because that is the story you're told in the first game. But if you stand back and look at them, especially Joel, is not a good character, not a good guy. He's just the guy you know. He's just, it's like being related to someone and you love them, but they do shitty things, but you're related to them. So, yeah, all right. But the way the second game plays out, especially in that second half, when you take control of Abby and the introduction to those other characters really plays a huge part in it as well. But her journey and her growth is so well done. She is such a good character. And I ended up leaving that game thinking Abby was the best of them. She was the best of us. She's not a perfect character either. There are no perfect characters in this world. Except maybe Jesse. Jesse's pretty great. I love Jesse. And I will say to be positive about the show in one way, I think the way they did Jesse and the actor, all great. Jesse's the actor for Jesse more able to carry the show than Ellie. This is something I had an issue with in the first season with Bella. Every time she swears, especially when she says fuck, it does not feel natural. It feels so forced, and I don't know if it's because and I haven't watched a lot of interviews with her. I don't know what her kind of real life personality is, but fucks coming out of Bella Ramsey do not feel natural, do not feel organic. They feel forced every single time. So whenever Ellie is supposed to be sounding, I guess, hard, I don't know, it does not sound right. You can feel the difference so much between her performance and what is her name? Abby Johnson's performance in the game. Because she swears a lot in the game. But when I watch the show, I think to myself, did she swear this much in the game? And then I think, yeah, she did. Absolutely. So what's the difference? And it's all in the delivery. Bella Ramsey's delivery of that shit just does not work. And again, she's so baby faced that I don't want to say that's the only reason. I think part of it is just her ability as an actor. I don't buy this revenge side of Ellie, this angry, vengeful side of her. It does not feel. I don't get it. And we return to Abby in this last episode, and again, she just looks so fucking small. I cannot believe how tiny she looks. She's technically an inch taller than Bella Ramsey, but even though we don't see them side to side here in this, well, yeah, we don't see them side to side. I mean, they clash, but they're not standing next to each other. She just looks so fucking tiny and unimposing. I look at her and I think to myself, I could flick you with a finger and you would go flying 100 feet in the distance. You look like I could break you just by poking you. I'll poke you with a stick and your arm's gonna break. You remind me of, in terms of his, what, not the stature. No, it's like you're fucking Glass from Split and Glass and Unbreakable. You're Samuel L. Jackson. You fucking trip down the stairs and every bone in your body's gonna be broken. I don't know. The way they've structured this season, it makes me appreciate the game so much more. A game that grew on me as I played more of it and has since, even before the show came out, has only grown on me in recollection and just thinking about it as time has passed on. I like it more and more, as much as, or despite the fact that I don't love the gameplay again. I don't think Naughty Dog is great at gameplay, and I don't think that changed with Last of Us Part 2. But in terms of storytelling overall, again, Dina in the show is better. I think she still has her issues, but unequivocally, she's a better character than in the game, because she's a nothing character in the game, and she's a person here. And to that point, also, even though I don't love everything they've done with Dina, she's better than Ellie. She's a better. Ellie is the worst part of the show. Well, Abby, we'll see how season 3 goes, because maybe with her acting chops, she'll make up for her lack of physical chops. We'll see, because I think Caitlin Danver, I'm not sure her last name, but I think she's a capable actress in what I've seen of her, at least. So maybe she can pull it off to some extent. I think there's still ultimately no getting around the lack of physical stature. It is, no matter how good her acting is, I don't think there will always be that part of it. The fact that she's not on that physical level is just inevitable. But maybe she can convince me enough. That's what I'll say. But for me, and I think this is probably why season 2 has failed for me so much, is that I don't like Ellie. I don't think Bella Ramsey is doing a good job. I don't think she can do it. I don't think she can carry the show. And I don't like some of the changes. I don't like the additions. Everything with Catherine O'Hara, fucking, I don't need that. Another thing that just reminded me of, with Catherine O'Hara stuff and her getting the storyline between Joel and her husband and how that all played out. I feel like the show regularly feels the need to reiterate and beat certain points across the head of the viewer. Something that the game did for me with the last part of it. If you've played the game, there's a last chunk where you're back in Ellie's shoes going after Abby, and that's an additional 3 or 4 hours of the game. And all that really does is beat your head with the point of the entire game, which is that revenge is pointless, and the cyclical nature of revenge is just something that is a waste of everyone's time. It's just this thing that goes back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, and you need to break that cycle, which Abby is able to do. She manages to do because she grows as a character. And Ellie shows no ability to even be her own person because she's essentially guilt tripped into taking on that last journey towards Abby. Because suddenly Tommy is just like, "Oh my god, I can't believe you let her go. I Joe never did it." He fucking just lets it into her like a little piece of shit. Spoilers for the game. I don't know. We're spoiling and we're not spoiling. I don't know what we're doing. But I don't even know where I was going with any of this shit anymore. I've lost my train of thought. I just hate. Oh yeah, the reiteration in the show. We didn't need to have another instance of Joel lying to Ellie so that we know, oh, she knows for sure now that Joel's a liar, and now she knows what happened. We didn't need that. She already knew. She already realized. There's already always in the back of her head what actually happened there. She doesn't need this moment to help her confront Joel about it. And what she does, how she reveals it to Catherine O'Hara's character, real shitty thing to do. Real selfish thing to do. But again, that is her character. Ellie is an incredibly selfish character. I don't like the fact that it surely implies that the cure would have 100% have worked. That that changes. That's nope. Don't like that. To me, that fucking is a huge revelation that changes a lot in a negative. I fucking I just can't with this show. I did not think season 2 I thought season 2 was probably gonna be good because season 1 was pretty good. Wasn't perfect, but it was one of the better adaptations. Again, it was more of a straight adaptation, so it's not I haven't yet to watch Fallout, but from all accounts, Fallout is a great adaptation that does its own thing, tells its own story, which I would prefer, and this is just a retelling of the game. This second season, though, is fucking with things more. And again, feel like we got to a certain point way faster than oh god, I don't know. I don't know. I just didn't think season 2 was gonna be this bad. I didn't think it was gonna be bad at all. And even if it was bad, this bad, I did not enjoy a single second of this. Again, I think aspects of it are not bad. Jesse, I like Jesse. I think Dina overall is much better handled. That's it, maybe for my good. I hope y'all enjoyed it though. That's enough of The Last of Us. Thank God we don't have to talk about it for another fucking 2.5 years, however long it takes to do season 3. But yeah, enough of that. To get on a happier, more positive news and whatnot, I just watched because it's getting a Blu-ray release from 88 Films in a few months or so. The Cat from 1992. which is this movie about a cat, an alien cat, and then other aliens, and this weird fleshy mushroomy looking monster alien, and there's a lot of shit going on, and it's fucking weird as shit. I only want to bring it up because you can look at my letterbox review and get the link there, or just go to YouTube and search the Cat 1992 dog fight. There is a fight between a dog and the titular cat in the movie that is one of the most insane, amazing things I've ever seen in my entire life. It is incredible. The way it is shot and edited is so unbelievably bonkers that I couldn't believe what I was seeing. I can't believe it's actually real. It feels fake. It doesn't feel like something you would see in a real movie that was put out, but it was. It's incredible. I don't want to give it away either. I don't want to spoil it. I'd rather spoil the last of season 2 than the fight between the dog and the cat in The Cat from 1992 because it's that amazing. All I'll say is that at one point, you know how in a lot of fighting movies or movies with fighting, there'll be some bit, and I don't know if it's in a lot of them, but in fighting movies, you might have an instance where a dude flips over another dude and in doing so grabs them by the neck or the collar and then with their momentum tosses them over their head. So it's a flip grab momentum thing. The cat does that to the dog in this movie, and it is absolutely insane. It's such a fun movie. I I loved every second of it. It is insane. I watched there's you can watch the whole movie. It's on Internet Archive with some not great subtitles. They're a bit off in terms of their actual content, but then they also seem to be sometimes off in terms of timing. But I can't wait to get the Blu-ray copy and see it all pretty. However, it's just I want to bring it up because it's incredible. And while The Last of Us season 2 made me very, very sad, The Cat made me very, very happy. It also loves it loves close-ups and slow-mo. It's an insane movie in all the best ways. This is why movies exist. It's for shit like The Cat. In terms of anime, I have nothing really to say. I'm continuing with my Fire Force rewatch, and I'm enjoying it. I bumped my score up from a 4 to a 7. I think it's a tad weaker than the last season, but I'm still enjoying it. I do feel like even though things have happened and they had the other power plant type device thing, I forget the one in the actual city is Amaterasu or whatever it is, and then this one was it Tabernacle? But we have all that, and there is stuff happening. However, there's something about the second season where I feel like not as much progress has actually happened, and I don't know why that is. It also feels a tad bit sillier than the first season, and maybe that's just because I am at the point where they're at the lab to get the sixth pillar, and the one lady with her puppets, one of their special abilities is this fucking fart power. I'm like, okay, they're just going and shooting laser beams out of their butthole. This is a bit much, but I'm enjoying it overall, having a good time with it. The one dude who likes to abuse children at the lab, how his eyes work, I don't understand that at all, and I don't like it. I think it is visually very unappealing and weird, and it makes no fucking sense. I don't what the hell's going on with his eyes, but I'm enjoying it overall. I'm though ready to get it over and done with and catch up with season 3 and move on to some other shows. I keep looking at my lists and seeing Bleach there, where I stopped watching it and thinking to myself, I should probably get back to this sometime soon. It's just sitting there. Let's start watching that dubbed. The rest of the stuff, My Hero Academia, Vigilantes, it's fine. I don't even remember what the last episode again, it's hard with that one just because it comes out right after. I think on the day that this show comes out, this podcast comes out, is when it comes out, so I'm always a week behind with it. And then One Piece, I'm enjoying, but I never really feel like I don't know what to say about One Piece given it's been going on for so long and it just is constantly a continuation of the story. What is there to really say other than I forgot to mention it when the one elder showed up, but his I guess it's his true form? Fucking this crabby spider thing. Don't like that. That's fucking disturbing as all hell. And I'm very curious how they get out of this situation. A new episode came out today, but I haven't yet to watch it. Witch Watch was fun. It seems like Witch Watch now is structured kind of in a singular way and not in the 3 episode little shorts where you have it's kind of more broken up into 2 parts for episodes now where you kind of have the introduction of what the episode is going to be about in terms of the gag, and you have that introduced in a certain way, and then you follow it through with the second part. Because I tend to forget what the first part it took me a while to remember that the first part of this latest episode of Witch Watch was the crow working with this stage play adventure type thing, like a Power Ranger type show for kids, and he works as the hero as this because he's very acrobatic and all that, and he's doing this as a part-time job to earn money so that he can pay rent and blah, 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 and then he finds out that the dude who used to be in his role got injured, I think, and he just wants to make his son proud, so they switch roles, and he uses his innate abilities as a crow in the monster's suit to make the other dudes who's injured make his attacks way more exaggerated, like he's beating the crap out of them. But the fact that they did all these changes and blah 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 means they ended up making no money. And so the rest of the episode is about him getting another part-time job, this time putting screws into little boxes, I guess. And he's bored by this. He wants to be able to do it a lot faster. And so he asks the witch to put a spell on him that'll allow him to do things faster. And she has this spell that can do it, speed up someone's time up to 10 times, but it can't be dispelled. It'll just naturally go away after 3 days. And the crow, not really thinking it through, says, "Yeah, give it to me. Give it to me 10 times." And she even says, "Those who take it 10 times are prone to some kind of mental breakdown." And it's like, "Oh, whatever. I'll be fine. Those people are just weak." And what it actually does, the spell, is it doesn't make time go 10 times as fast or make you work 10 times faster, or you be 10 times faster. It slows down time so that it's 10 times slower. So that these 3 days for him will be 30 days. And the way they play with this is fun where the people in real time see him and he's moving very, very fast. He's talking very fast. They can't understand him. He's moving around. He'll come out every 30 minutes to eat something because for him it's been 5 hours. And for him, when they're moving so slowly that they feel like monsters to him. And it's a fun episode. He gradually learns how to interact with everyone, slowing down his speech and his movements so that he can look more natural. He'll eat with them, and when eventually 3 days pass, he starts to freak out because he has the time lag now where everyone to him is moving way faster than they were because now he's back in real time, but he's used to them being in 10 times slower time. It's just fun. It's a fun show. It's not substantial anyway. There's nothing amazing about it, but it is a solid, pleasant little show to watch every week. It's a nice show. You don't have to think about it. You don't have to waste too much energy watching it. And that's something that's always nice to have in your back pocket. Then The Apothecary Diaries is back after its week break. Nothing too exciting happened what it feels like this episode was leading up to the climactic end of cliffhangery end of this season. Because it's just kind of like, oh, all right, we're going with the flow. And now she's investigating this thing with this one boy who she likes calling a little shit. I like every time she calls him a little shit. But then they are found by this one lady who does not look nice. And we'll now see where that goes from here. So there's that. And then what else? What else is there that I'm even watching? I think that is that it? Let me just double check before I wrap this episode up. A little bit of a shorter. I mean, this is just a meandering. I literally just watched The Last of Us, so I'm still trying. I probably should have waited to collect my thoughts before I just meandered through that. But sometimes that happens. Windbreaker. I'm enjoying Windbreaker, but I'm wondering now. I mean, we're having a pretty decent fight now. These last 2 episodes. And one of the things I forgot to say about it last week is that the current fighting arc they're in the city with this older group, it feels so Yakuza-y, so Like a Dragon-y, that I immediately thought the studio making Windbreaker, if anyone were to make a Yakuza / Like a Dragon, it's still Yakuza in my heart, and it will always be Yakuza in the same way that me being a Chicagoan, fucking what's the Willis Tower? All I know is the Sears Tower, and that's all I'll ever know. If anyone were to make a Yakuza show, I feel like this studio would be perfect for it because they could get the action right, and I think they can get the general vibe where you have serious and you have silly mixed together. And now I kind of want that because the setting and these older characters, they just have that vibe, and watching it has made me really wish. And there may have been a Yakuza anime. I don't think there's been anything official. I know we had the Amazon live action thing, which was, I guess, generally poorly received or mixed, probably is the more accurate way to describe it. I don't know if we've ever gotten an anime. Maybe we have, but I would love to see either the first or a new anime based off of the Yakuza video game series from the Windbreaker studio because they could pull it off. 1000% they could pull it off. And I think it would be great. And I want it, and I want it now. But I'm enjoying Windbreaker. I'm liking it. I'm curious to see how the season ends because I feel like those first 2 episodes of fight, the way the fight concluded, it felt like we were going to get something that really hasn't come to fruition so far this season. I don't feel like it's going to. Maybe we'll get a hint of it at the very end in a cliffhanger. But I'm liking it. Yeah. That's pretty much it in terms of watching and whatnot. I've just been powering through the rewatch. I want to get that out of the way. I'm down to I think 180 movies in my big old playlist to rewatch, and then I can just kind of fucking relax. But this has just been a busy weekend of me working on Attack the Backlog and watching when I can. I'm exhausted. Everything's exhausted. Everything's exhausted. I think you're probably very able to tell I'm a little bit out of my mind right now. And the way I have my hand here, it's covering me and the lighting. I am just I'm wearing my PlayStation hoodie just to remind people that I like The Last of Us. I just don't like the show. I think The Last of Us Part 2, the video game, is an incredible achievement in storytelling. The Last of Us Season 2 TV show, though, is an incredible achievement in how to ruin story. Ah. Anywho, that's enough of blah, 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 blah. So that'll do it for this here episode of Animezingly Baka. Once again, I am Marcus, and as y'all can find me pretty much everywhere at PX Sausage. If you enjoy this here show or any of the stuff I do and what have you, you can support me and my nonsense over at patreon.com/PXS. There you can get access to a monthly Q&A, a private Discord channel, along with some fascinating Discord roles, and the random drop on the Patreon here or there depending on your tier. Or you could just support me to support me if that is your fancy. That is, again, patreon.com/PXS. In addition to the Patreon, you can find links to the site, the YouTube, the Discord, and so much more over at pxsausage.com, including Letterboxd, which is where you can go if you want to see that review of the cat, which is kind of a reiteration of what I already said, but it includes a link to the YouTube video, the exact one of the dog and cat fight, which is just chef's kiss. Mwah. Chef's kiss. Incredible. It is literally one of the greatest things I've ever seen in my life. And I'm so happy I have seen it. And I think everyone needs to see it before they die. If you don't want to watch the whole movie, fine. I still recommend the whole movie because it's nuts. But if nothing else, watch that dog cat fight because it's incredible. But again, you can find links to everything at pxsausage.com. That is the letter P, the letter X, sausage.com. But that is it. That is all. As always, thank you for watching or listening. I hope you enjoy this here episode, and I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your day. But for now, adios, arrivederci. Bye bye.
It's go time. Go daddy. It's go time. Go daddy. It's go time. Go daddy.